Sorry for that little break. It was my internet connection. Let's continue. So you were saying something?
Yes. So as I have said, it is really important for schools to have that mental health support for their students. And yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So let's see what she did. Um, Mina, right?
Yes, Mina.
Yep. Okay. Really cute name. All right. So uh, one day, one day I had enough. I gathered the courage, went up to her, and told her to leave me alone and that I wasn't here to make friends, but learn and have fun. Fun. Sorry about that. To have fun. Unlike her, who was only here to waste time. People gave me such weird looks, probably because they didn't know me that well, but standing up to her made me feel really good and free. I finished the rest of my time there happily. So once again, she stood up to her.
And that's amazing. She stood up for herself. It's amazing that people like her try to stand up for themselves. However, it would have been better, and she would feel much more better if she tried to talk to that person and try to be friends with that person, and not to resent that person, because words are like swords. It can hurt someone, even if that person is a bully. And you know when she said that, you know um her words to that person, to the one who bullied her, was not nice, and that can also cause um some effect to that person. They can
Yeah.
also experience some of that.
There are two sides to this situation. It's the person that's getting bullied and the person that is bullying them, and both of them should be educated. Like both, we should look at both of their sides equally, because you don't know why a person's bullying, and so the person getting bullied shouldn't just jump to conclusions and assume that they're a bully, they're bad, they're not good, and and that person should maybe uh try to talk to them instead. I've never looked at it from like a bully's perspective, because like they should seek help as well. Both of them should. The person getting bullied should maybe try to talk to the other person, see why they're doing what they're doing, and then the bully should maybe go and talk to someone, because obviously, or probably, they have something going on in their inner world that's affecting the way that they're acting. So this whole situation should not be looked at from just one person's perspective. It should be looked at from both sides.
Yes, exactly. And it is actually very complex, and that is actually the problem, because even people, they even if they know it that they need help, they do not accept it. And sometimes people don't even realize that they need help. And that happens because of maybe they do not lack they lack this support from their environment, such as, for example, if they're in a school, they really lack support from their schools. And that is really something we need to improve in our world. And actually, that is where the role of parents come. And because yes, maybe parents cannot choose their friends, the friends of their children, or what their children would feel, but they can choose the environment that their children would be in. Because parents can have the power to help the children in choosing the right school, choosing the right being in the right place where they will be. And environment really plays a big role in shaping a person. And each person actually makes the community. And that makes the environment. If the environment is not good, it's really something that we have to you know act on. There really needs a change. People have to be educated, and that is something we have to improve on.
Exactly. Number three. Should we move on?
Yeah, sure. Perfect.
Number three. Number three is guy. What should we call him? I think I read this actually. I got curious. What should we call him?
Call him. Um, Maybe my brother's name, Jerick.
Could you it's Derek or something else? Did I answer?
Yeah, it could be Derek.
Okay, I think I misheard. Could you type
Two brothers, Jerick and Derek. So it's fine. Either of the two.
it's like both it's the Zoom call, I think. It's like kind of I can't really hear it.
Derek is perfect.
So Derek. Because
Yes.
I mishear. Last week I met up with my brother and his girlfriend at their place to hang out. There I also met this girl. They gave their name, Ashley. There I also met this girl, Ashley. She was a friend of my brother's girlfriend. We really got along and decided to meet up the following day for lunch. The next day, I got ready and headed for the small restaurant. We met up, placed our orders, and started to talk. She seemed really great, and we got along so well. Our food arrived, and she immediately ate one of her fries, and it burned her mouth, so she spat it out in her napkin. She then called over the waitress who had brought our food and started to yell at her for not bringing the food at a temperature that was best fit for her mouth. I was in shock. For a person that seemed so nice, she was being really mean to her, insulting her in so many ways. I was really embarrassed and felt bad for the waitress. I didn't know what to do, and at that moment, I just wanted to ground the swallow me whole. That is bad.
I see the situation now. So if you would assess the situation, as you have mentioned that um she was kind at first and she was, really nice, and then after that happened, she just started lashing out. That is a clear sign that maybe that person is really going through something, because research says that those people who tend to really lash out, they are the people who are going through something, and also those who seem nice, maybe they're the people who are really going through a lot inside.
Yeah, that is bad though, honestly. That's like standing there because like I felt that before when someone next to you is doing something that's embarrassing you, you just want the ground to just swallow you whole. It's not a good feeling. And you are right, it's usually people who lash out like that to strangers are people who are going through something because they wouldn't just do it out of no reason or just from resent, because there has to be something in the back, because no person can be like that bad to just lash out at someone for no reason. So they probably do have something that's going on with them.
Exactly. Yes, it is embarrassing to really be in that situation, but as someone who is there, it's you can apologize to the waitress, and also to talk to that person. Maybe he's really going through something.
Yeah. Yeah, you should try. If she did seem nice at first, she probably sort of nice. She wouldn't just act like it. He could try and talk to her and like ask her like why did you do that? Like, are you okay? Ask about how she's feeling, maybe, and then apologize to the waitress. But maybe he felt a bit weird apologizing in front of her, as if like apologizing for her actions. So just talking to her afterwards would, I think, would be the best to do.
Yes, exactly. That would be best. So when that happens, you can apologize to the waitress, but not in front of that person. You can talk to that person after.
I'm gonna read the act now. I'm curious. It's a fun little story. Um, After we got up and separated, I immediately went back inside the restaurant. I found the waitress Ashley had yelled at and began to apologize to her. She was very grateful and gave me a hug. I later deleted Ashley's number from my phone and never spoke to her again. See, that's a little bit of a mistake right there. People are people just see things from one person's perspective. Again, both sides should be educated at this. Someone who's being mean can't just be mean. You should try to talk to them.
Yes, exactly. So I am happy that she apologized to the waitress, and that happened. And however, she really could have talked to Ashley and sorted things out, because maybe Ashley has been really going through something. And that feeling when you are going through something, and then you would do something you would regret, and then people will resent you for that. That is even much more terrible, and it might cause a much more deeper problem for that person, for Ashley.
Yeah, yeah. You shouldn't just ignore her. Maybe she became the way she is because people ignored her. You can't know that. You should do something different, just break the chain and ask her why she did that. Confront them. But again, people, this is what social anxiety does, in these situations. People who have social anxiety um, fear these types of situations. So they usually just choose to ignore it completely and not confront it. Don't confront people who are being mean to other people. Just completely ignore the situation and then move on. This is what social anxiety does to people. It just holds you back from doing so many good things for yourself and for other people.
Yes, that is right.
So the um, fourth and the final memory, the final memory.
Yeah.
I This one doesn't have a name. Just says number 4. They didn't give their name, I don't think. I am a college third year student, and I was born with a big birthmark on my face. I always got bullied for it all throughout elementary and high school. I tried covering it up with various things, but no matter what I did, people knew that birthmark existed, and I kept on getting mocked for it. I spoke to my teachers about it, but it didn't have an effect. So I just chose to distance myself from everyone and have no friends to talk to. I just believed no one would want to be my friend. When I was starting college, my parents made me believe that it would be a fresh start and reassured me that since everyone there would be much more grown up, I wouldn't get mocked. But I was so afraid of someone making a negative comment that even before I walked into class, I started crying. It felt like I wasn't able to breathe. People clustered around me and brought me to the nurse. I went home early that day and didn't leave my room for the next 2 days.
That is a clear sign that he really needs someone, a professional who would help her. Because as you see, whatever her environment is, it happened to her because of her birthmark, and she really needs help to on from someone, from a professional, on how to handle um situations where people try to do that to her. Because um even when they tried to change her environment, it still happened. And the thing that the parents could have done is, you know, they can choose really a place where she will get support from for for herself, so she will be able to handle such situations where people try to bully her for that. And there's something that that is something that we all have to learn, which is to self acceptance. People usually to be tell us to be positive about ourselves, but sometimes what we just need is self acceptance. But it is hard when people present you for something that you for something about you, most especially about your image, and that is just terrible. And something that we could they could do is really seeking for help, for therapy, and also um going to, to the proper people, to the proper school authorities to handle the bullies who are doing that to her. And maybe she could talk to them as well before doing that.
Yeah, yes, yes, exactly. Exactly. She should go and talk to someone because that fear, um, when you don't love yourself, you just fear what everyone will say to you and what they will think of you. And that's just the most terrible thing ever. Just not loving yourself and fearing what other people will say about you. It's just the worst, honestly. So yeah, she should go and get like professional help. She should talk to someone and just go and really understand why she's feeling the way she's feeling. And maybe once she's gathered up the confidence to, she could go and stand up for herself and ask people like, I love the way I look. Why are you being mean to me?
Exactly. And the sad thing about that is, she could have gotten the proper support from her family, because if she wasn't able to find friends from her schools, from from her schools, she has her family, and her family who she's getting support from them. The only problem is that her family doesn't know how to properly support the person, the children, the child. And one thing they could have done is to show her their love and to make her realize that she's beautiful and she doesn't need the validation of others to feel beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. I'm curious. I'm curious on what she did. I'm just gonna read ahead.
Me too.
One morning. One morning, I woke up and went downstairs to see my parents in the kitchen. We talked for a bit and decided that I should see a therapist. 2 hours later, I was in the office of a woman who I had never seen before and who was supposedly going to help me with my issues. It took some time for me to get used to her, but after a while, I told her everything, and to be honest, it felt good to finally talk about my fears. She listened to me patiently and summed up everything I had ever felt. People had made me feel bad about myself once, and I had lost my confidence, and I had served everything else up to them on a silver plate. I have been seeing her for 3 years now, and I feel really great. I have friends, I feel good, and I no longer feel bad about how I look on the outside. It's very inspirational. And I'm really happy that it ended up good for her.
Yes, me too. I am very happy that she was able to overcome her fear through the help of that person. And that is something that we just really need the right support. We need a listening ear who who will really listen to us and who will help us in making us realize what we have to do. And I'm just happy for her.
Yeah, me too. Really. It could be hard to talk to a therapist. I haven't seen one, but just the idea of talking to someone that you've never met before, who is, who's supposed to help you with your fears. It just doesn't really seem believable. So I do kind of understand the doubt, but once you do get used to it, then it would be good to talk to someone, because like you said, these people train for years to understand and help people, so they must know something, like they must do something right, so you just need patience, and you just need to go and talk to them, and they could help, they will help, like the story.
Yes, exactly. And therapists are really there to really help us, and that's why it's really advisable to talk to one. And it's really understandable, and it's very normal to feel anxious at first to talk to a therapist, most especially with because of the mental health stigma that we have all over the world. Because there is this kind of thinking that whenever you suffer from anxiety or depression or anything about mental health, people will think you are crazy and you need to go to the hospital, or you are dangerous and you can cause harm to people, and that would lead to more bullyings that happen. There are lots of cases like that. People get even more bullied for facing mental health issues, and that is why we really need to break the stigma around mental health, because we don't have to fear asking for help, because it is really what we need to overcome our problems.
Exactly. I believe that that's all the time we have for today. Should we continue talking?
So thank you for that. I think that's all.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Angelique. It's been great.
Thank you very thank you very much for having me here. It's my greatest honor to share my insights and be with all of you today. And thank you also for our listeners.
Yeah, thank you all so much. Be sure, all of you, to check out Bluebird Wellbeing and their website. They do such amazing things. Really, just go and look on their website. And if you want any updates on this podcast, go and follow Bluebird Wellbeing on Instagram. Make sure. So I'll see you until next time.